noon, walking along the river. It's quite flooded at the moment, so we're limited with very flooded. Like down there is where the trees is where we normally park the vehicle, and I have to park it way back. Well, can you see my hand? I have to park it quite far back there, just so near the beginning of the picnic tables, just so that we have enough walking space, because I shall show you. Got to turn around. So that area up there where we normally walk is all underwater at the moment. So, oh, hang on. So the whole area up there where the picnic tables and everything are, back to the water pipe. If I park closer to that, just gives us more of a walking track. There are other walking tracks I can do, which I'm going to start doing, but this one has less animals, less other dogs, bad grammar, I know. So I prefer this one, just because it gives us freedom, more freedom. There is some walks that we can do though that are completely not. There's a walk near the wheat silo, which doesn't oh, Alvin just hit himself, which is not weather dependent. It's boiling hot in summer, of course, but in winter it's not underwater ever. Anyways, purpose of today's topic. So I had a friend ring me this morning to ask me for some advice for how to deal with the feeling of abandonment and the feeling how to work through that deep, heavy process of the grief that comes up with abandonment. And I simplified the information to nature, getting out into nature, being completely in the moment, getting to the cycles, the meridian cycles of nature. So slow down the breath and the awareness to the bare basics of the most stunning, exquisite, magical simplicity of nature, which is looking at one blade of grass and just really studying that one blade of grass. Just noticing the different colours in the sky, noticing the different colours of a leaf. Notice the leaves fluttering in the tree, noticing the little ants, like just really become mindful of what nature is showing us, because one, that's the beautiful, most simplistic, most godly reminder of all of the magicalness of life. Two, it's just such a slower, real, it's a slower, real reality. It's real, like nature is real. So you look at nature and it brings you to the basis of the depths of what actually matters, and the cycle, the simplistic cycle of just watching an ant and the ant in the grass, watching it move through all the blades of grass. So that one ant going through 10 blades of grass for us is like well, that's like a whole hand for us, but for them it's like a mammoth trip. So yep, that's what I said to my friend. Focus on simplisticness of nature. I'll just show you this river. Beautiful, hey? It's very muddy here at the moment. Simplisticness of nature, the beauty of nature, the ongoing cycles of nature. That's one thing. The breathing, the simple breathing within nature, like breathing whilst focusing on nature helps calm us down completely. And the other thing, I don't think I mentioned to her water. I mentioned to her 3 things. Isn't that funny that I've already forgotten? But yeah, the nature, the breathing, being present, being completely present in the moment, like not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future, just being present in that moment. And yes, acknowledging the feeling of abandonment, or whatever the feeling is that's coming up. Yes, feel that feeling, for it is very real for the body. Do not get caught up in the narrative, the storyline. So for the storyline, I've realised, is what we are not. For example, what I said to my friend this morning was, be aware of the feeling of abandonment. That is a very real feeling. Allow the depth of that agony, and it's an excruciating agony. Go into the depths of that agony without identifying with the agony. So feel the agony, but know the feeling, the thought patterns, the story that's coming with the agony. That is generally what we are not. That is generally part of our conditioning, part of our upbringing, part of our, how do I explain this? We all have an identity related, like a 3D body relationship with ourselves, which is based on where in the world we were born, what time we were born, as in what era, our family environment, the experiences we had growing up. They become part of our identity, but they're not actually who we are. Who we actually really are is our soul and our spirit. So our soul and our spirit is way bigger than what happens to the body. So what happens to the vessel is not who we are. It's just what the body experienced as part of, like, I'll use the godly term because I'm a Christian, but before I called myself a Christian, I was godly. Our godly destiny. The animals are on the wrong side of the fence. This is not good. Hang on a minute, I'll show you where they are. Come on, hurry up. They're near Alvin. They're actually near the train track. This is not good. They're on the completely wrong side of the fence. I don't even know how they got in there. Come on, come here. See this little bit, oh hang on. See this little bit of fence line here. Come on, quick. Oh, that's dangerous. Okay, that was funny. Wrong side of the road. It's the wrong side of the fence on the railroad track side. We're not normally this high on the road, but where we normally walk is completely underwater, so our walk's been changed. But the body's experience, yes, that is part of our lessons. Okay, let's take it back to when you're at school and you're studying for an exam. So you're reading this book and you're reading that article and you go to that forum and so you learn all this information, and some of the information you enjoy learning and some of it you find really arduous or boring, and some of you remember in a good way and some of you remember in a not good way, and then the outcome is you write the essay and you get your points for that particular essay. So if you think about life a little bit like that, we've got all these articles, forums and books to read that, experiences, something that we experience as a human being, all the different experiences, it's all the different information, all the data collecting. And then what we do with that data hones our spirit and our soul. And this is why I titled mine Self, because I read this article the other day which just blew my mind. And she said the biggest, and I'll link it one day when I get ready with my computer and everything. She said the biggest mistake, look, I'm really bastardizing what she said, but basically she said self-sacrifice is the biggest mistake most people make. And it's actually the one thing that causes trauma, continual trauma in people's lives. So we're continually putting someone else more important than us, or we're continually allowing a dynamic to occur that's not serving us. We're self-sacrificing our self-love. We're self-sacrificing what we need as a human because either we're unaware of it, or we don't think we deserve it, or we don't know any better. There's many different reasons why people perpetuate a particular habit and dynamic and pattern, which is also a mindset. If you think about the story that's in our brain, that's a habit, which is why, yes, feel the feeling of abandonment, feel the feeling of deep despair, deep loneliness, but don't identify that as who we are, because it's not. It's what we've learnt. It's something that we've learnt. But the ultimate outcome is the spirits and the souls, evolution or transmutation and becoming godly. And that God space is love. Love is self-love. Self-love does not involve self-sacrifice. Self-sacrifice is what a lot of us do that keeps perpetuating us being in a situation where we're not being honoured, where we're not being supported, where we are perpetuating and continuing cycles that create the same story, repeat the story, keep the story going. Like we keep bringing these people into our lives that keep repeating this story that so many people identify with as actually who they are, as their identity. So for example, I've just been crying a lot, like really heavily. I'm having a really heavy day today. I unfortunately had an unenlivened thought pattern earlier today. So, and it's not just because the sky's grey, it's actually because I was thinking like, just plotting, just bit by bit. And it's like so many challenges, so many obstacles, doesn't seem to be enough rewards, or there doesn't seem to be enough peace, or, I mean, and that's also itself a story. You know, everyone who reads the Bible, everyone who talks about the process of really living life seems to involve struggle and pain, but then why? No, there's so many people that have peace, don't we? Isn't that what God really wants for us? Yes. When? Don't know when. There's all these questions. It's hard to come up with the right answer. I do know that peace, and I do know that God desires for us to get to that place of real peace. It's in the Bible. It's our heavenly reward. Upon true deep surrender of our human path within God's divine plan for our human form. So this is why I've done so many YouTube channels, discussions on surrendering and releasing the identity of who we are not, because that holds us back from our godly divine destiny, which holds us back from our godly rewards and our ultimate peace. And this is way easier said than actually done. I've felt a sense of peace I've never felt in my life before. That's why I can vouch that the surrender process works completely. I'm also going to say that as a human, I keep having these relapses into ego, and I keep having relapses into despondency or malaise because I'm being impatient, and I want to have a life that doesn't have so much pain and anguish. The process of surrender for me is not easy. It involves really, like, as I know for a lot of us, like the surrendering process is in pure faith. We trust that all is well. God's got our back. We're going to be provided for. It's hard to discuss this topic without oversimplifying it, or what do I want to say? Some people are going through really hard times, and I really want to acknowledge that this is sometimes hard to hear. I've had people tell me in the past, all I do is switch my perspective and the peace would be there. And then when I got to that place of peace, whenever it was 4 months ago or 5 months ago, 4 months ago I think it was, I haven't been writing, which is a real shame, but it's recorded on my YouTube channel. I got to that euphoric space of completely accepting God's divine love and protection, and realizing I'm a child of God, and God as my Father is looking out for me, and I'm completely safe. And something really shifted in me when I surrendered, and that shift hasn't unshifted itself. I haven't unshifted that philosophy. I still believe I'm under firmly accept and believe that I'm under God's full protection. In saying that, and I've spoken to quite a few people about this, there's just that sense of the worldly living. This is the river, beautiful, isn't it? The worldly living, the loneliness, the despair of the ego memory, what our child, what. Okay, so for example, today I felt really lonely and really burdened by like my financial situation. I just got so many bills, and I just had to contact a lot of people today that I promised I'd pay them some money today, and had to say, could you please give me another couple of weeks? I'm really blessed because I've got a job tomorrow. I'm going to look at a job tonight to get to, for the lady, and I'm cleaning a lady's house that she's selling. So she's showing me the property so we can decide what exactly to do to get the house ready for sale. And then I've got that cleaning job, and then I've got a gardening job tomorrow. So that's fantastic. And then I've got some other work on the pipeline, and and as a lot of you know, I'm on Centrelink, so that's a set $600 a fortnight. Oh no, someone's come. Alvin, Zena, I'll show you. There's a car that's come. Don't. Alvin, Zena, come here. Alvin, Zena, come on. That's it. Well done. Alvin, come here. Come on. This way. Come on. Usually what we do. Thank you. Stay near. Usually what we do. Usually what we do is we walk way up the river, really far away. We're just walking up and down the picnic area at the moment because where we normally walk is underwater. It's way more beautiful, way prettier, and there's no cars, no people, and no dogs. Anyways, yeah, everyone, it's a hard journey, and there's no simple answers except for, I think, reach out to trusted ones. That's right. Today when I felt really lonely, I was like, who can I reach out to? And the funny thing is, I thought about this one friend, and I went to ring her, and then I saw there was a missed call from her. I was like, oh, well, there you go. That's really cool. And then we had well, they're wet. I don't want them to get me wet. Yeah, it's a hard journey being a human. And the rewards, the rewards of being a human, the ultimate rewards, I'm sure very few of us know, hardly anyone that can say they've hit that true nirvana state, but there are people that have achieved that. It is so doable and possible, and I know it's from a place of continuously mastering the ego, continuously keeping the ego in check. That ego is identity. So anything that we identify as ourself. Okay, so for example, this river in front of me. This river, if I sit here in peace and I just look at this river and I meditate on this river and I look at the pure joy and the pure magic, and this is on a big level, but I can go smaller. It's all very muddy at the moment, but you can go really small. You can go right down. Okay, you can go right down to the small leads. You can get mesmerized by it, and it just creates this immediate peace. Immediately, it's like we stop worrying so much about. I don't like always using the word ego, but I think everyone knows what ego-based individualistic identity thinking is. So I said to this friend today that my biggest fear, my identity as Nadina, 53 in 1 week, next Monday, it's my birthday, and I should be further along, I should have achieved more, like all the shoulds. I've got the ability to do this, I've got the potential to this, I could have achieved this by now. I don't like using the words ought and should. I actually work really hard to keep those out of my vocabulary, but I do use the word could have, and would love to be there by now, or wish I was there by now. So, but I'm very careful not to use the word should. That's one thing I'm grateful about for myself. But this word, I wish I was at that point already, or I could have been at this point. I could have been at this point by now. I had the ability to be this. I have the ability to be at this point. Not there yet. Kept making all these certain decisions. And then I go into that space of, I'm not going to say loser mentality, but that real space of feeling like I'm not doing good enough or well enough. I said good enough. Yeah, not doing good enough. Like I'm not stepping up enough. I'm not being the best I can be. But then at the same time, I only ever tried to do the best I can be. And all these different obstacles I've had, but then how many of them are just me blocking myself? How many of them are just a silly pattern? I don't know. I get really confused by this topic, everyone. And that's why I'll simplify it. I read this article. It said self-sacrifice is the biggest, where we go wrong. Anytime we're self-sacrificing is where we're going wrong. So if we're putting someone else's needs before our own, not godly. If we're putting up with something that is not honouring our boundaries or our values or what we're comfortable with, that's not godly. It's not self-love. If we're overcompensating, being a people pleaser, if we're repeating a pattern that we know doesn't work, not godly, not self-love, that's where we keep holding ourselves back. That's where everyone is making the biggest, everyone who's not moving forward in life. That's what this lady, such an amazing article, I'm pretty sure I forwarded onto my YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. Everyone who is not living the life that they are destined to live or living their full potential is doing this one particular element, and it's self-sacrificing, where we're sacrificing ourselves for the other. And I read this other article that says you can't have a healthy relationship when you're not putting yourself first or you're not loving yourself. So basically, where I've gone wrong in nearly all my relationships, I would do things like, say if you go to a bakery and you both want a spinach and ricotta roll, all right, there's only one left. I would let the other have that spinach ricotta roll. And then I would go, well, there's nothing really there that I really want. Oh, okay, I'll have the pizza pie. But that's not what I really wanted. But what we could have done was gone, let's go halves in a spinach ricotta roll, and then we can choose we can negotiate. But I used to not even negotiate. I used to not even, or for example, I felt like I had to do too much to please the other. I always wanted to make sure everyone else was happy or okay or safe. Or that's called toxic empathy. That's not empowering. It's not empowering to make someone else so important that you're actually prepared to I don't know if I'm making any sense here. There's so much I've been learning about and why my relationships, why I haven't necessarily had the best relationships in my life. I'm talking about intimate relationships and friendship relationships. They just sprayed mud all over me. It's like I felt like everyone else deserved more than me, or I needed to make sure everyone else was okay, and then I make sure I'm okay. Well, hang on a minute. They can make sure they're okay. I'm here to help them help themselves. So if someone wants to help themselves, then I'm there for you to help yourself. But it's not my responsibility to help someone else out if they're not helping themselves out. Like, it's my responsibility to help myself out. It's not my responsibility. It's also not my right to expect someone else to fix it up for me. A lot of people do. They feel very entitled for someone else to always fix things up. They get used to, giving up their power all the time because they're too used to. Don't even know if this is making any sense, because I've just been learning so much and I really don't know sometimes how to explain it simply. But that process, because a lot of people go, if you've been self-loving and you're putting yourself first, that's been selfish. No, it's been self-full. Putting ourselves first is being self-full. Like, you put the air in your own mouth first. You do yourself first, and then you can be of assistance to others. if there's only a little bit of water, we have to share that water equally so that we've all got enough to drink, so that none of us die of thirst. But if someone's carrying someone else, so for example, there's a parent carrying, say if there's all these people walking and they're running out of water, the adults carrying the heavy load and the other children or the elderly sick people ought to get more water than those who are just carrying themselves, because the others have got a double burden. So there is a time when we have less than the other, and that's not lack of self-love. That's just being equitable. See, equity is not. People think that equity means equal or even. It's not. Like, there's this really cute little cartoon that I saw a really long time ago, and there was this a short person, a middle person, and a big person looking over a fence to see a sport. It's a cartoon, so they're trying to look over the fence, and they've all got a block. They've all got a block to stand on, and the short person, even with one block, can't see over the fence. The tall person, even with no block, can see over the fence. And so with the first one, where they've all got an equal block, they've all got one block each, two people can't see over the fence, and one person who didn't need the blocks can see perfectly. And then it changes to another picture where the short one gets 2 blocks, the middle person gets 1 block, and the tall person has no blocks because the tall person didn't need any blocks at all. And that's called equitability. It's one of the best pictures I've ever seen. So one person getting 2 blocks and one person getting none doesn't mean that someone's being discriminated against. It just means you're all looking at each individual requirements and needs and specifications, and we come up with that, anyways. We all need to know when to say yes to something and when to say no. So when I said in my title, saying yes to life, let's bring it back to that. I read this other article, and it says when you're surrendering to God, you're surrendering in full faith and trust that, because my friend said to me this morning, we have to be in action to do something. Yes, within God's guidance. So we surrender. We don't orchestrate our lives. We, by free will, surrender to God, looking for the guidance, looking for the signs and the guide, looking for the signposts and the clear direction of where to go. And then before we know it, we're on God's divine journey, and then the rewards just inundate us. And there's a peace that comes with that, because we're not having to be responsible for everything. We're part of a universal collaboration. We're working in unison with higher frequency. We're outside of the 3D ego. We step outside the 3D ego. We also step outside of the conditioning and the identity that often keeps making trauma-based mistakes, because most of our identity is who we are actually not. And as we get older, we need to unlearn who we are not to become who we are. And who we are is our soul and our spirit, which has no attachment to particular family members or to particular environments or to a particular habit. It's got connection to the frequency of the plants and the universe. That's where our soul and our spirit are connected to. That's where it's in unison with. Working with our tribe on a 3D level means working with our tribe, knowing that we're a frequency, we're a conglomerate, we're a grouping of atoms to help each other stay alive and to have this earthly experience, living in a multi-high frequency way of being, which is simple. It's a simple way of being. It's not complicated. The minute something becomes complicated, I believe that we're completely off the 5D frequency, and we've gone into ego, we've gone into narratives, we've gone into society telling us what to do. Society is one of the most macabre, imprisoned, limited, low frequency systems. Human society is basically a prison to keep everyone small and trapped. So to step above and beyond that is, so going back to the things I've been learning. One, I got told about 2 weeks ago, I think I shared this already on one of my YouTube channels. I got this person identified me as a genius. They said like my IQ and my emotional intelligence is so high that there's no human system that I can work within that will not jar me, because the human systems are generically very limited and very corrupt and very low frequency based and very greed focused, blah blah blah. That particular statement from this person really got me thinking hard, and then this person said to me, a counsellor said to me, you need to find your way. And I said, well, my way is God's way, so I've got to find my way within God's way. I've got to find how to succeed in this world, how to create a business, how to be financial, how to get ahead in this life within 5D, my way, like God's way through this body. And that's where I'm getting not thwarted. Try not to overthink it. Don't really completely understand exactly how I was supposed to find my way until I read this article that then said I need to look. No, it's actually, I was at this gathering the other night. That's right. I was at this really amazing gathering, and we had a big slumber party. It was so cool. It was a tree planting. We had a tree planting day. And then at the end of the tree planting day, there was a communal dinner and a communal sleepover and environment centre. And there was a heap of us that were talking till 1 a.m. And there was this lady that said to me, I said, how did you get to where you are? So she actually has this job in land care. We're in a wheatbelt town, land care, and she's got a degree in microbiology or something like that, but she didn't really know where it was going to take her, and she couldn't really find the right jobs. But then she just started saying yes to small little things, and then it led to these other things, and eventually led, and land care is, most of the government stuff to do with environment is not at all doing help. There's not, very corrupt, mismanagement of funds like you wouldn't believe. Not, the land is not being looked after. But she said land care is actually one of the few that actually you can make a difference, and good stuff is actually happening. So she's landed a job where she can actually make a difference in the world. It might not be the biggest difference she wants to make, because in general, all this government funded stuff, most of it isn't doing anything really good for the planet. But she, oh gosh, they're in a swamp here, I'll show you. It's disgusting. Oh, can you see them? Oh no. Oh dear. One of them got stuck in the mud and they couldn't, the other one had to pull them out. It was funny. Not funny. Funny, not funny. Basically, she said to me, this beautiful lady, we've become Facebook friends, she said to me, say yes to anything that is aligned with your goals. Anything that's aligned with your goals, and I said, and anything that feels like it's got a godly hue to it. So I've been saying yes to things that I wasn't really aligned completely with what I really thought I should be doing. But I thought, but it's a step towards what I feel like is my divine destiny. So that's God's guidance. It has to be God's guidance, because the way it came to me was uncanny, is what you would call a miracle, is what you would call random. If something's that random, okay, so here's an example. I get a load of firewood, big truckload of firewood. The person who drops the load of firewood off had this amazing amazing trailer, and it had this tip thing at the end. I just thought it was a normal trailer. But he tips it up and all the wood just comes out. And I was like, wow, that's an amazing trailer. I said, do you have that just for doing your wood collecting? He goes, oh, no, I have a gardening business. I said, really? I said, do you need any workers? He goes, yes, I do. And I said, he goes, are you joking? I said, no, are you joking? And he goes, yeah, right. So Tuesday. So tomorrow, I'm working for him tomorrow. Now, he says he's only got one day for me at the moment, but whenever he's got spare, if he hasn't got enough people, he's often one short. So I'm called the spare. I don't have a set regular job with him. And he says, how do you feel about lawn mowing? I don't want to be mowing lawns, mate. This is what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm mowing lawns. But he's got a gun. Hey, oi, you're looking sneaky. Come here. Come on. They had the sneakiest look on their face. Oi, Alvin, Zena. Sorry, they had a really sneaky look on their face. We'll do one more round. Come on this way. Come on, quick. Zena. Come on. Zena. They had the sneakiest look on their face just then. I didn't know what they were up to. This way. Look. He's going. Come on. We'll do one more. Usually we walk up the river and back for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So today we've just done the picnic road 4 times. Of course, everything's flooded. It's still fine. Anyways, the point of the story is I'm working tomorrow for this gardening company and tomorrow I'm mowing lawns. So I said yes to that because mowing lawns is not what I want to be doing. However, gardening is. So, and what is the chances of me getting a job from someone dropping me off a load of wood? So that's where I firmly believe, and I really hope you peoples can take this on. That's God. That's God's guidance. Anything like that just seems like it's just serendipitous, that's God. And that's what we say yes to. So when I said we fully surrender, it takes away the sense of abandonment. It takes away the sense of loneliness because we know God's got our back. We know that the doors are going to be opened. I've got heaps of stories like that wood story. I've got so many stories like that. Like I keep wanting to do a YouTube channel every day to discuss yet another thing that's happened. I have stuff like that happen all the time. And I say yes a lot. There are times when I say no. Now let's discuss this for a minute. I got invited, so the tree planting day, for example, I almost said no to. And then at last, because I was feeling really tired, really drained, I went, no, Nadina, you need to be out there with good-minded people, putting plants in the ground. It's good for your soul. You need to be there. That's where you need to be. So as a result of being at that tree planting day, I've networked with a heap of really amazing people. And a lot of them are local in the wheat belt. So I'm getting to know more and more land-focused people. This is really important for me because this is my ilk. People who love the land, love nature. Zena, I said I got invited to something the other day and I really wanted to go and I ended up saying no because I felt really tired. And even when I was at home and I was wondering, should I force myself to go? I was like, probably should be there because you'll meet someone really good. There's someone there that God wants me to meet. But no, I'm so tired and it's okay because that was it was a women's high tea through the church. So it was a dress up really nice and go to a high tea, and it would have been really enjoyable. I just wasn't in the mood or mode to socialise, and tree planting's different. Here I am meeting new people and doing hard labour. That's fine, I can handle that. And then after that we're around a fire and we're chatting. I can handle that, but a high tea situation, to me, there's a fair bit of small talk. I'm not all be small talk because they're Christian women. But I just went, no, I don't have the energy for that. And I think that was an okay thing to say no to. It wasn't completely aligned with my destiny, which I believe is, outdoors, empowerment. Yes, high teas are lovely. Yes, dressing up is lovely. But for me, it's about authentic communication. And I find, and stuff to do with empowering the world, empowering people. I don't like chit chat. I don't like superficiality. So should I challenge myself on that? Probably. I would probably fit in this society a lot better if I could handle superficial conversation a bit more, or if I could have more patience. And I was talking to these people at the tree planting group about how I find people really exhausting. I find people so exhausting that I often don't want to be around people because I really don't like how low energy sort of. Oh, I just want to talk about real things, like real things. And a couple of ladies said to me, however, to fit into this society, you do have to know how to work with that energy without it depleting you. Because that's how this lady who's got the land care job is working. She has to work with very idiotical people who think they're super important, right? And she has to be humble around those people, and they bug her to pieces. And she doesn't. She's just got to. She learns. She does it like a meditation, and she's doing negotiations with them. But in saying that, I was thinking in my heart, but maybe what if that's not me? What if I don't have that ability? And then one of the ladies said, well, you just got to find what it is that you can do, that you don't have to be around that type of people or negotiate. Like maybe you have that face person that does that negotiation for you. And so what happens yesterday, I'm not kidding you peoples, the biggest miracle of all, I met this lady about 4 months ago. I do op shop duty every Friday, right? And there was this lady she's creating a tavern at a nearby country town near Northam. And so she donated a heap of the old linen to our op shop because she's upgrading her linen. And we're chatting away and we're having this amazing conversation, and she asks if we can swap phone numbers. And I said, of course. So she rings me. Oh, I was really looking forward to, this is the type of lady that I thought, this is an inspiring woman. This is someone who I want to know. This is someone who I could learn a lot from. Like, she rings me yesterday and she basically says, I'll synopsize it. Hey, Zena, Alvin, come on. She basically said to me, thank you. Since I first met you, I haven't been able to get you out of my mind. And, God's directed me to blah, blah, blah. And then she proposed this amazing situation, like mind-boggling, which is exactly what God told me. God was promising me. God told me, I'm sending people to help you. I'm sending your crew to you. Basically. And this particular situation with this lady, what she's proposing, of course I said yes. However, at the same time, it just filled me with fear because I've got to really step up now. But God also told me about 5 days ago, your restoration time is now over. I now need you to be your brave being. I need you to get out there in the world. And I'm going, I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to get out there. And I know I need to. So what this lady is doing is she's going to be my face. You know what I mean? Like, she's going to be the one that deals with the people. She will be the one that does the negotiations. She said that to me. She says, I'll be the person that negotiates. I'll be the face of the business. I'll be the one who gets the clients, deals with the clients, discusses the money. I'll make sure we get the good rates. I'm not negotiating based on, because she's a businesswoman. She's going, if they can't afford us, they don't get our service. Whereas I'm always like, oh, you can't afford us, I'll drop my price rate. Oh, I'll do an extra 4 hours for free. Yeah, that sort of crap. And I've been doing that forever. She said, so I'll make sure, rah, this and that, rah, rah. And then she asks me for everything I need, rah, rah. And we got into more logistics. And today we're meeting up at 5 to go into it more thoroughly. And I said to my friend this morning, it's actually filling me with fear because she's presenting me all these ideas. And I said, well, maybe we could just start smaller. And she goes, nah, let's start proper, wham, bam, boof, doof, doof, doof. So she wants a full list of everything I need. So she basically wants to be my silent partner. Put in all the capital for my business. Be my silent partner. And God told her this. But she doesn't just want to be my silent partner. She's not a silent partner at all, because she will be the one that deals with the clients. Or if I feel like I'm being too pussy wimpy with people, I just say, you can do it, diddle it. But I'll also learn how to be more businessy and hard with it. Not hard. Working in the op shop is doing this. We get so many people try to scam us, pretending that they don't have money for this, but they're smoking a cigarette. If you can smoke a cigarette, you can pay $4 for a jumper. You know what I mean? And we wash stuff. Like, I wash things for the op shop. Like, we're using our electricity, our own washing powder. The lady who I help run the op shop, she drives around, picks things up. Alvin! We're in that spot where I was sneaky before. I think there might be a dead animal over there. That's what it is. I bet ya. In the car now. Look, see, there they are. I swear to goodness that they actually... I reckon they want to roll in a dead animal. No, you will not. I have to get going anyways, because I don't want to be late. I've got to get home in time for this lady. Come on, in you get, quick. Zena, hurry up. Okay, so the point of the story, everyone, is saying yeses. Like, when I said yes to this lady, why would I not say yes? She says God divine told her to set up a business with me. And not only that, in the back, hurry up. Not only did God tell her I'll just turn this off for a second. Not only did God tell her to set up the business with me, God told me that I'll have someone that comes into my life that helps me out, like, as in helps me with my professionalism. Because one thing I don't have is proper professionalism with people, because I'm too easygoing and soft. And back to the op shop. People try to scam us, and it's really hard to you don't know who to believe and who not to believe. It's really hard sometimes. And I've had plenty of times running a cleaning business where people try to tell me they're poor. And I was doing this cleaning for this woman's house one time, and she wouldn't pay me cash. Everything had to be barter, and I was hungry. I was actually hungry, and she was throwing food out, perfectly good food from her fridge, and throwing it into the bin, and I was hungry. So she was prepared to throw things out rather than give it to me. But one day she came home with this table that cost her $2,800. She goes, "Oh, it was on sale. I had to get it." I'm like, "What? You call a $2,800 a $3,000 table on sale?" I said, "I don't think you're poor at all." I don't think you're poor at all. So that's actually when I realised a lot of people cry poor who have no concept of they don't go hungry. They don't know how to struggle to pay for a bill. They think maybe if they can't afford to go on a cruise or buy that new car that they want. I'm sorry, but people are weird. Anyways, people's saying yes to what is presented as an obvious sign from God. Now I've got to step up. This lady wants an inventory of everything I need to set up our business, and then we're going to go out and buy it. And it's all waiting on me to step up. The sooner I step up, the sooner it's going to happen. Let me just check the time. 4:06. Yep, I've still got an hour. And it put me in a bit of fear today, because my narrative is I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I'm unworthy. So there's a part of me that wants to say, "Oh, thanks for the offer, but no, I can't do it," and stay small. Why would I do that? Why? No. That would take me out of, that would really knock out my, I've just got to have real faith. Faith that God's got my back. Faith that God at all times will guide me. Whoops. I also know a lot of people I can collaborate with to get some ideas from, like there's certain items that we need and I can get some ideas and help. I don't have to do it all on my own to choose the products. I also know this lady has full faith and trust in me, so it's not like I'm going to be able to make a mistake. Like if I choose something, say off Gumtree, and I get it for half price, she's not going to begrudge me that. She's a Christian woman. She won't turn around and say, oh, we should have bought it brand new. Like, you made a mistake buying it secondhand. Like, I just know she's not going to do that to me. So I am surrendering to stepping up into my calling. And at the moment, this business that me and this lady are creating, her idea is that we employ other people to do the hard labor. So then I'll become a manager of the business. I'll still be on the field and on the ground and doing the consultancy work and everything, but I won't be doing the actual physical hard labor. Well, I'll still do some because I love doing hard labor. It's really good. It keeps me from not being a cripple. If I stop working my body, I'll become a cripple really quickly. But it's going to be done within boundaries, and we're going to be employing people as well. So this is really beautiful. And her intention is to help us in our retirement. So she's going, just want to really work on us old ladies being secure in our retirement. That's actually how she said it. She wants her and me to be secure in our retirement because people in my age group won't get superannuation and we won't get the pension. You know, there's no backup support for people like me when we get old. So we've got to start really considering how we're going to manage and stay alive and yeah, and I can't wait to get off Centrelink. You know, it's only $600 a fortnight, which is very little, but my gosh, without that $600, wow, what would I have? You know what I mean? I would be destitute completely. So yeah, but how beautiful is that I've got someone being my mentor and my people, the public face, which is what I was saying to these people at the gathering. Maybe I don't need to deal with how to deal with superficial, like maybe I don't need to deal with that part of humanity that drains me so much. You know, I actually really think I'm autistic. I really I feel like people who are highly intelligent, most people who are really highly intelligent, I actually think are autistic. Or like there's a part of our brain that works really hard and fast and then there's another part of our brain that just can't cope. It's just like, no. And I can tell you one thing, I do not do small talk. I cannot do small talk. Like I feel like I want to vomit. I cannot stand small talk. I feel so uncomfortable with it. Like really, it makes me, just the idea of being in a group where people sitting around just chit-chatting about the weather and stuff or whatever, politics, you know, blah, blah, or their children. Anyways, or sports. Anyways, let's wrap this up. So, look at little Zena's face. So basically, what do I want to say? Yeah, with the abandonment issues, it's just a story. It's just a story of something that happened to this body. It's part of the gift. It's God's gift. I just got sprayed with water. I personally believe, it's what I said to my friend this morning, every single trial and tribulation that's occurred in our life, I firmly believe, and I've read too many articles now and watched too many articles, read too many articles that have confirmed this. I firmly agree with this ethos that our trials and tribulations are our godly gifts. So everything that's happened that we can call a trauma is actually a learning pathway unit. Call it a unit, a uni unit, call it a tape module, whatever. It's something to progress. And so we can go level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5 of that same trial. And so, like, for example, in psychology, we have to do this stupid thing called RStudio, data statistic inputting. It's awful. It's awful. And the whole unit is about inputting statistics into an RStudio computer program. Like, you've got to be kidding me. And there's 3 layers of RStudio. Three units of it. So 3 units of 13 weeks of learning how to input statistical data and creating formulas into a program. But they're core elective units. You have to do it. Sorry, they're core units. They're not elective. You actually have to do them. That was roughly around the time when I thought psychology is not for me, because I really don't like computers at all. Why would I want to learn how to code them and create formulas and stuff? I just went on a segue. Basically, life is about learning. Life is a learning for our spirit and our souls. The soul getting we've all heard that the soul having an earthly experience, and we can get heaven on earth by surrendering to our destiny, our traumas, our calling, our vocation, what we desire, what we love, our passion is our gift. But for me, that's writing, dancing, and art and gardening. So you look at what you love. What is it that you love? Like, I have a friend who loves fashion, loves color. So I keep saying, I've got 2 friends actually that love color. I love color too, but they really love fashion. So what is it about the fashion? So for me, it's regenerating the planet, gardening. So funny, the friend I was talking about is just ringing me. Oh, I should have said send a message. Oh, I should have said call you in a minute. Basically, yeah, so our calling, our God's gift is where God wants us to be. So mine's writing, gardening, colour, empowerment, words. Our traumas hone the gifts. So my traumas have honed my skill set around linguistics, around colour therapy, plant, like learning about the ground, learning about budget, restoration on a budget, like replenishing the planet, replenishing the land on a budget, making homes on a budget, blah, 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 beauty, simplicity, creating simplicity. I could go on and on more about this, but I think you get the gist. So my trauma has honed my God's gifts, and that's where I believe if we've got a narrative of something like abandonment, we hone the lesson around abandonment, and that will hone the God's gift. So the abandonment can be healed through focusing on color and fabric. Like, why not turn the abandonment into something that is so inspiring for the world? It could be something like a collage of photos that then can get put into an art gallery or turned into a book. And then where's that going to go? Like, where does that lead to? It leads to the eventual outcome, which is God's divine plan, which we will never know. And it's not for us to know. And it's also not for us to question or to it's just about the surrender. There's this thing called prodigal. Prodigal means reckless abandonment. So the prodigal. So if you're a prodigal human, you're recklessly abandoning yourself to living life. Like the prodigal son, the prodigal father, the prodigal spouse. It's all people recklessly abandoning themselves to that position, to that joy, to that stance. So the prodigal son parable is about the reckless abandonment of the father recklessly accepting his son, even though the son's made really terrible choices. And the prodigal son is the son, recklessly abandoning his inheritance, and in that process, what he learned, and then when he comes back to what blah blah blah. So being a prodigal is really, really important. Prodigally saying yes to what God shows us, and when it's in alignment, we know when it's in alignment because it just feels too miraculous. It feels too wow, really. It feels like you just know it's godly divine. Like, come on, this lady ringing me yesterday with that proposal. Like, seriously, that is not a normal phone call. That is not a normal action of someone you've met once. And she said, God has directed me to this. This is godly divine. God has told me, to set up a business with you. And then God told me that God said, I'm bringing people to you to move forward in life. I'm bringing your people to you. That's what God said. I'm bringing your people to you. Trust me. I'm bringing people to you to support you. All is well. All is well. I don't think God said all is well. I think God said, I'm bringing your people to you. Yeah, maybe it was all is well, or all is. I can't remember now what it was because it was about 4 or 5 months ago. Maybe it even was trust me, but I am bringing your people to you for your support. I'm bringing your support to you. Constantly get given this message. And today, when I fell into my deep despair, because I had to tell some people I couldn't pay them this fortnight, even though I promised them last fortnight I'd pay them this fortnight. And I'm like, what happened to that gardening job? He hasn't rung me, he hasn't confirmed it. And then he rang me today, so you're ready for tomorrow? I said, yeah, but how come you're only bringing me today? And he goes, well, I told you had the job. So talk about the typical male. I told you had the job. I said, no, you told me you were going to talk to your co-partner to see and then you're going to get back to me about the start time. He goes, well, yeah, anyway, you got the job. And I went, okay, great. I was like, so classical. Like, he didn't tell me I had the job. When I saw him, he said, I'll talk to my colleague about you and I'll ring you about your start time. So now that I hear myself say that, I can understand why he thinks that he said he told me I had the job. But he didn't actually say, you had the job. He said, I will talk to my work colleague and I'll ring you with your start time. So when you say, I'll talk to my colleague about you, that to me doesn't mean a definite yes. But that's me being pedantic, you see, everyone. That's what I have to learn. I have to... Oh, and another thing I want to share. That particular guy and another guy... that guy, I didn't have his phone number. The wood dude that I've got the gardening job with, I didn't have his phone number. I sent him a message by Messenger to give him my number, so it's not like I could ring him. And I could have sent him another message by Messenger going, hey, what's up? Have I still got am I working with you tomorrow or not? I could have said that, but I went into shy mode. I went into, I went to small mode. I went into fear mode. Because I didn't think I had the right to check. This is part of the reason why I got upset today, because I didn't check. I felt like I didn't have the right to check whether I had the job or not. What the F? That I don't have the right to say, hey, just checking that the job's still on for tomorrow, or how's it going? See, I've got to get rid of that narrative. And there's another guy that offered to help me on my husband's and my property. And it's been about over a month. And I thought, I must have just been talking, people talk about things they're going to do and they don't really honour it, rah. It must be one of those stories. And then I get this missed call today from a number, because every time I've contacted this guy, for some reason I try to save his number and it won't save. So anyways, I get this random call from someone, I don't know who it is. And then I said, I'll ring you back. And then I forgot to ring that number. Anyways, I had to get myself another hat today, right? Because my dogs ate my last hat. It's very annoying. But what actually happened was I went to our local Emporium, Cads, to get my new hat. And the guy that sent me the number, the guy that wants to help me on my house, on my husband's and my home, works there. And he goes, oh, are you coming to talk to me in person? I said, yeah, I'll say hi to you, but I'm also here to get a hat. He goes, oh, didn't you get my phone call? I said, no. Oh, was that you? Sorry, he goes. And he goes, read your message and answer. And it says, do you want me to come around this afternoon to work on the shower? And I said, oh, wow, thank you so much. I said, not today, because I'm going to this job, to look at this job in Wundowie, to look at a property, to work out what needs to be done there, but when you're ready, that'd be great. He says, well, tomorrow. I said, okay, fantastic. And then I said, thank you so much for contacting me. I've been wanting to contact you, but I didn't want to harass you. And he goes, what? No. I said I was going to help you out. You harass me. If I forget to come or this and that, that's just because you harass me. You feel welcome to harass me. And he said it with a smile. I went, really? He goes, yeah. If I say I'm going to do something and a couple of weeks has gone by, you remind me. And I went, wow, I really need to learn to trust people's word. So he says he wants to help me few weeks goes by and I just assumed he didn't mean what he said. He's been thinking non-stop about the shower and all this work that I need to do on my shower to get it waterproof and this and that, rah, rah. He's actually been stressing out about it, knowing that the longer it's not fixed, the more damage can happen to the wood, to the structure of the house. So basically, I said, well, I've been stressing about it too, but I didn't know how to get it fixed. And then I didn't want to harass you. But what I now need to remember is to trust. I need to trust that when someone offers to help, especially if they're a Christian man, I actually have to accept that it's a genuine offer. And I've got to really start accepting that when people like that come into my life and they offer things, that's God. Your little Albany, the car just drove by. People, I've got to believe people mean their word, because I've had so much betrayal happen and so many people say something and not honour it, or, this and that. But that's the past. That's a narrative. That's a story. I've got to let that go. So everyone, leave you on that. It's our right to re-clarify something. It's our right to check something. We're not harassing people. See, I never want to be someone who's dominating or come across as pushy or bossy or, I don't want to be that, but what I'm doing is not honouring myself, because this person's offered something and I need to know, is the offer still valid? That's actually really quite normal and okay to say, oh, is the offer still valid? It's only those of us who've been so neglected and abandoned and betrayed, and people have such low self-worth that doubt that they have the right to check, to re-clarify. So peoples, if you do deal with abandonment issues, you've got trauma around self-worth, trust me, it is completely reasonable and it's completely healthy and it's completely respectful to say to someone, hey, you remember that offer? Is it still on? Or, hey, do you remember when we discussed blah, blah, blah? What's the update? This is all okay, Ron. This is what I've been learning today. And I didn't have to have that crying fit today, which had really drained my eyes out. I didn't have to go into that deep despair. If I hadn't have gone into that fear and that doubt, I wouldn't have drained my eyes like I have. I wouldn't have given myself a headache, and I wouldn't have had 2 hours of stress that was unnecessary. That's what I mean about self-sacrifice. I was self-sacrificing my right to know whether the other person still meant what they said, my right to get clarification around communication. I was self-sacrificing my well-being because I was too worried about being pushy or bossy or harassing another. Hear the narrative? Hear the ridiculousness in it? That's what I mean about, look at the narratives. They are not who we are. We need to let that go and we need to move into the yeses. Yes, I have the right to contact someone to clarify and get communication on that particular thing that we discussed. Yes, I have the right to stand up for this boundary if someone's overstepped it. Yes, I have the right to da-da-da-da-da. Yes, I am worthy of da-da-da-da-da. Yeses is so important. I'm going to wrap it up, everyone. Haven't done a YouTube live for a while. God's been asking me to do one for a long, long time now, and I felt overwhelmed, too small, didn't really know what to say. Did quite a few videos, which I haven't uploaded, to basically thought, oh, if I do a video, at least I've spoken to the community and I can upload it later. Haven't uploaded them. I feel very overwhelmed by a lot of things, and I need to let that narrative go as well, because that overwhelm is not me either. It's not me. It's keeping me small. There's the river, the birds, beautiful. And Alvin and Zena, we're going to go home, and then this lady's going to come by soon. I'm going to go check out her property and then do some chatting around our business, and then tomorrow I'm working, woohoo! And then this Saturday, having a really fun time with a really dear friend for her birthday, and a heap of my friends will be there. It's going to be fun. Next Monday is my birthday. I've had a few people say they really want me to do something and they'll travel to come to me, so I must do something for my birthday. I must make it happen, yes. Yes, I will, I promise. I promise. We'll have a rip-roaring 53rd birthday for me, darling, sweet Nadina. All right, see you later. Keep well. God bless. Okay, bye. God bless. It's always hard to turn this thing off. See ya. Bye.